So tonight at about 5:20 p.m., we received calls for a manhole fire. Companies arrived to find multiple manholes on Newbury Street. We've had a couple of manhole explosions. We have, as a precaution, we have cleared Newbury Street of pedestrian traffic. We've cleared a couple, I think 4 buildings due to concern that they were so close to one of the manholes that was exploding. And right now we're just kind of maintaining a safe area, letting Eversource do their work to make it safe.
And any idea, I mean, witnesses describe the smell of gas. Is that, obviously you're looking at that?
I mean, we're looking at everything, but right now it appears that it's electrical in nature. It's Eversource manholes that we're focusing on. So right now they're troubleshooting it, trying to locate a manhole to secure the power so that we can cut down the secondaries on Newbury Street.
Were the covers actually blown off?
So Eversource actually has replaced the covers to explosion-safe covers. So it's not like, years ago when you'd see a cover blow up in the air. So these actually have a fail-safe to them. So while it's a loud explosion, the cover doesn't go through the air. So the covers are still on the manholes, but they had a significant explosion that did displace the cover up, but it falls back down into place.
So the explosions that we heard earlier was from manhole covers?
Yes, those were manholes exploding and definitely affecting the cover, but the cover, because of the safeties, fell back down. It protected it from being a projectile in the air and hurting people.
And then as far as the impact on the community here, so what should people who live in this neighborhood, what should they expect?
Well, right now, I mean, I think it's still unfolding, so we can expect probably some issues with the power. I know Eversource is working hard to make sure that's limited, but right now they are working to make the situation safe and shut the power down to as small an area as they possibly can.
So it obviously started as one, or at least that's what it sounded like to us, and then 6 total. So did it kind of domino? How does that work?
It seemed like it moved down Newbury Street, like towards Mass Ave. So right now we have between Dartmouth and Gloucester shut down to pedestrian traffic. So that's really the area that we're looking at. But, from when we arrived, it's expanded towards Mass Ave, pretty significantly.
Considering what happened last night in Nashville, is there any concerns at all about, explosions and more than just manhole covers at all? Or,
Yeah, I mean, we actually go into the affected buildings with 4 gas meters, and we check the environment. We have found in a couple of the evacuated buildings low levels of carbon monoxide, which is one other reason why we would move people out of those buildings. So, it's always a concern, but right now, we're doing our best to make sure that concern is abated. And, so far we feel confident that this is isolated to the manholes, but still it's an unfolding situation.
And we also noticed that there were some alarms that were going off in the buildings as well. Were the buildings themselves impacted by this, for beyond just the alarms going off?
I mean, when the alarms go off in situations like this, usually it's the smoke from the manhole fire following the conduit into the building and causing a light smoke condition that sets off a smoke detector, and that's what happened here. So we did have a few buildings that had the alarms go off. And, we had companies here to investigate quickly, and we determined that it was all connected to the manholes.
No injuries to residents or firefighters?
So far, we have no injuries.
Thank you.
I know we came in late, but could you just describe again, just kind of nuts and bolts of what happened here?
Sure. We around 5:20 p.m., Boston Fire responded to reports of a manhole fire. We arrived to find multiple confirmed manhole fires. In total, right now, it's at about 6. We've had multiple explosions in the manholes. They're isolated to the manholes. We have no injuries. We have 4 buildings, primarily commercial occupancies, that have been evacuated just out of a precaution. And we've just removed pedestrian traffic from Dartmouth to Gloucester. I'm sorry, Dartmouth to Gloucester on Newbury Street out of a precaution to make sure people are safe.
I'm sure they asked, but any costs?
No cost yet. It's too early to tell.
Thank you,
Appreciate it, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Name is Deputy Chief James Green, Greene.
So you heard from the deputy chief there. Our apologies as we deal with some technical issues with the microphone, but a total of 6 manholes that exploded here just a little while ago, and he kind of described a domino effect that occurred here in the Back Bay on Newbury Street. So we're standing at the corner of Dartmouth and Newbury Street, and then this extended down toward Mass Ave, and they have the area toward Gloucester Street shut down. And Alfonso, I don't know if you can show, it's still kind of smoking there. The initial manhole that had exploded is on this block, and there's some smoke or steam that's emanating from underground there. So that is where this all started, and then it worked its way down toward Mass Ave in the Fenway over there. So a large impact for this neighborhood at this hour right now, as many people have been evacuated from this area. So we're still working to learn more, hear from other residents here. You just heard from the deputy chief as well. We'll be on scene through the evening and bring you the latest here on News Center 5. For now, we're live in the Back Bay. I'm Peter Leopoulos, WCVB News Center 5.